Alright guys, today we're going to look at doing the Williams guard, which Son Williams really pioneered. It's really for like an MMA thing, but it also works for grappling. And Neil Melanson's got some tricks on it. I pulled from those two on how I like to get to this guard and then what I do from it. So the first thing is I'm starting in a closed guard. And anytime we're in a closed guard, if I'm dead line here and I'm not off angle and I'm fighting, especially a big strong guy like this is a huge battle. This means I've got to work to get the posture broken down and it's working to fight. If I do break his posture, I don't want to do it 18 times. I'm going to get tired. I want to do it once, and I want to get to a good control position. So the first thing is how I get there. So here's a way. It's not the only way, it's just a way. If I try to go for his neck and pull his head down and he defends, right, 100%, right? I'm never going to, it's a lot of work, and it's just too much for me to try to beat these frames here. So what I'd rather do is go for swimming the hands. I'm not going to get this either most of the time. If I do, great. Look how he's locking down. His elbows come down and he grips here. Now, there's my head catch. So rather than directing him all the way up by just giving it to him, I like to bait and switch. I come here, I come here. But I'm not done yet. I need to close this chest pressure. He's locked in. He already knows he's in trouble, but I can hang on him. So what I'm going to look for next is this hand to come around the shoulder. Not just here, because if I pull like this, I'm going to lose it with a connection. So I go for that swimmer's grab around the head and come up here to hug him. So he's fighting. Now sometimes I pull him down right here. But if he really holds back, so hold back all the way, right? I go here, up, I'll have to keep working, but I can sit up against his wrist. Now I'm hanging over the head, almost my thumb pointing to me. This is a frame on his neck, and I come around the back. I want to close that chest-to-chest pressure. Now I pull everything back and drop him down. It's really hard for him to hold when I do that, okay? So a little faster, same idea. I get him to commit to the swimmers, he commits, up. Now I'm tight. Now once I'm here, I'm putting him to a test where he either keeps his hands on his hips, he's uncomfortable, or he's got to start putting them somewhere, putting them across me, etc. This is where I'm going to look to start implementing the guard. So typically as I pull him down, there's this moment where I have him on the inside here, he's keeping him like this, I'm tight, and I have a little spot behind his elbow for my knee to go. So I want to think of getting that knee to my shoulder, but if I do it on my back, I don't have a good angle. So the first thing I'll do is I'll hip out a little bit. I can do this just by twisting. So I'm on about a 30, maybe 40 degree cant, I'm on my hip, or I can bring my knee up to his hip if I can do that. Sometimes I push on the floor, but I've got to rotate around him, keeping my far leg on the hip so he can't back out. Still having that head and arm control, then I pull this up. What I've got to be careful of is this hand coming up here, because that's a whole different thing. I'll start passing and playing the around the back tech, right? So people don't want to let you pass the arm. I'm counting on that. I'm going to turn on my side, pull this up, and as it's staying here, what I'm looking to do is connect this arm deep under my knee. So now I'm elbow deep, here's the knee. If you notice I'm still like this, I'll pull this down and turn it so I'm like high-fiving myself, right? Bring my elbow, or excuse me, my forearm right on his neck and gripping here. Everything's tight. His shoulder should be dead center on my chest. And really a good cue is I want him smelling my armpit. Check it if I wore deodorant. So go ahead and move around now. Right, I can live here. Now what'll happen is, you come around this side, what'll happen is this arm, this is really his only defense. He's either gonna start tucking that in, he's gonna start posting, maybe he'll fight with me, that's all fine, right? If I get off on a good angle and I'm tight here like this, gripping, I'm pulling everything into me, I can live for a while, okay? If he starts dropping in, at some point I'm gonna need a hand, and usually this hand to defend. So what I'll do is I'll keep this grip on his neck, but I'll pull my hand here to the shoulder. So I'm cupping the shoulder, okay? If he keeps driving in on me tight with the head, I'll just stay like this. But I'll pull the neck so I still have control and grip the shoulder to free up this hand. So now if he's digging that hand in on my leg, I can start working with this, and there's my triangle entry. If he pushes it out wide, I can start dealing to come up through the hole, etc., etc. Okay, so now I've got good control. Or if I want to even get better control, I come here. I like to keep contact on the head, the forearm here, and push him away, and I can come back here. So it's hard for him to see me, it's hard for him to punch me, still keeping the shoulder tight. I'm not pushing him away, I'm pushing him down. When I'm ready, if I want to do what's called the Neil knot, this is named for Neil Melanson, it's great. He's got a good video on it if you want to see it more in depth. But I pull this up, I come back around, because I'm already tight, and get tight here on the shin. And I drive this through. And get the tap there. What I'm essentially doing is making this triangle, and then sliding everything in. So I need to get this first because that keeps my control. I'm right on the carotid on the far side, and I'm tight behind his head. Sometimes this is hard to drive. Some people like to come underneath. I find when I go underneath, though, he'll tend to turn away, and then it's much harder to get this right. I might get a guillotine, but it's messy. So as I'm keeping my control here, I bring the shin up as tight as I can, over and pull, so I'm already connected on the outside. Then I drive here and slide up, squeeze. Let's say I can't get that, I'm just on the fingers. I'll make a fist, put it right on the neck. You can already see on his face, you're being a good dude. I pull here and it's terrible, okay? So one more time, let's go through all that. So I gotta work that posture break first. He's here, if I just go for it, I won't get it. I bait and switch. I go for this, boom, 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 all the way up. Now I'm turning, getting up on the hip, and I'm right there. Notice my feet, I didn't talk about them. Right now, I can swing up. This is almost like a rubber guard position, but I really shouldn't. I wanna keep the knee driving towards me. I don't wanna work my knee. But as I get this position, as I clear, if I'm having trouble, I can re-guard. So it's just a spot to think about, or I can keep that hip control, right? I'm pushing here, I'll wait for his reaction. He starts posting up, there's my opportunity. I'm in tight here, and now I'm working that finish. So just a good control position, good way to break that posture down to that control, and then kneel out from there. Of course, there are other options like going to an arm bar on the near side, Kimuras, the triangle, but it gives you a good way to keep them down without him being able to do much. Try it out.